Welcome to my Adobe Flash CS5.5 tutorial. In this tutorial, I will show you how to create a basic quiz game. So the first thing you want to do before starting is obviously download the software, which is Adobe Flash CS5.5. After you have downloaded the software, you want to go to Finder, Applications, and find Adobe Flash CS5.5, this one. You click on it, you open this one. If this is the first time you open Adobe Flash CS5.5, it might ask you for an Adobe username. You can either create one, use one if you have one, or just skip the step. It might take several minutes for the software to open, so just be patient, but do not panic. Okay, so here there are a lot of words, but you want to choose ActionScript 2.0. Do not choose 3.0. Click on 2.0 because this is the one that we are going to use for our buttons. So click on it. Here what comes up is a blank page, which is called a frame. Here at the bottom you have the timeline. Here you have the toolbar. Okay. The first thing you want to do, you already have one blank frame, here one. So the first thing you want to do before starting anything is right-clicking here in the timeline, go to Actions at the bottom, and what you want to type in is stop, open brackets, close brackets, semicolon. This is what you want to do. Check for errors. Okay, so here it says 0 errors, 0 warning. You can close that. Go back to timeline. We are going to add as many slides and which are called frames as you need. Just add as many as you need. Every time, insert blank keyframe, insert blank keyframe, insert blank keyframe. Don't worry, if you add too much, you can delete them after. You are going to do the same thing for all of them. Stop, open brackets, close brackets, semicolon. If you want, check for errors every time. It's recommended. Stop, close brackets, okay. Stop, open brackets, close brackets. If you want, you can just copy paste every time. Okay. Check for errors, 0 errors, 0 warnings. Good. Make sure to always check for errors, especially if this is your first time using Adobe Flash CS5.5. So, the first thing everyone wants to do is change the background color. We are going to do this by going under Properties, Properties here, and Stage. Stage here is the background color. If you click on it, there are a lot of colors. You can choose anything. I'm going to choose green. Okay, so my background changes to green automatically. We want to add a title to this game. So the first thing we are going to do is click on the T in the toolbar here, which is the text tool. Click on it. You put your box anywhere, then we will be able to move it. You type in the title, which is here going to be quiz game tutorial. Go back to the selection tool, move your box anywhere. Now this is too big. What am I going to do? I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to go under Properties, Character. I can change the font, which there are a lot of fonts right here, but I'm going to keep it the same. Then you can go to Style, and size here. I'm going to make it smaller, put 60. Here there is the color. I'm going to change it to, I'm going to keep it red. There. Here is my title. Now I want to add a start button. So listen carefully. You're going to click on the text tool, put a box, type in start. Highlight this, and if you want to change it, go to properties, character, size. If you want to change the size, type in the size, the color, under color, family, which is the font, and style, which is the style. I'm gonna keep it like this. Okay, so here's what I have so far. Now how to add a button to this. I'm going to right click the box. So I'm going to go to text tool. Here the box comes up. I'm going to right click it. Sorry. Go back to selection tool. Here the box, the blue box is around it. Make sure there is no other box. Right click it. Go to convert to symbol. Make sure it is a button and not a movie clip or a graphic. We're going to name it start. Make sure the registration is in the middle, not on the side or at the top, in the middle, or else it will not work. Press OK. Here a button came up, but now we have to right click it, go to actions, type in on, see the color changed, open brackets, release, color change again, close brackets, open this, which is you click on shift and the thing right next to P, it's called parenthesis, click enter, see this little thingy will come up, it doesn't matter, just keep typing, go to and stop, open brackets, 2, close bracket, semicolon, check for errors, 0 errors, 0 warnings, close that, go back to timeline. Now we are going to move on to frame 2. So now I set up the button so that when I click on the button, it will go to frame 2. So now I need to go to frame 2 and create that frame 2 so that when you click on start, it will get to this page. So now I'm going to add a title to this. Text tool in the toolbar, put a box up there. How much is 2 plus 3? Okay. Now this font is way too big, so we're going to highlight the text, go to character under properties, and we're gonna make it 40. Move the box if you need to. Put it there. We can also change the color and font and style. You go simply under properties, character. I'm gonna stick with times and bold, but I'm going to change the size to 60 and the color to yellow. Okay, actually this hurts my eyes, so I'm going to change it to red, kind of red. Okay, we need to move this box. Okay, we are going to add 2 choices. You can add really as many as you want, so 6 and 5. Okay, so now we all know which one is the right answer. It's obviously the 5. But okay, now to move the boxes, you go into selection tool and you move it. So you can really add as many choices as you want. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Now you remember what I did here on the start button when I went to action and I wrote on space open brackets release close brackets open parenthesis enter go to and stop open brackets 2. This means that when you will click on start, you will go to frame 2, which is this. Okay, so now we need to add buttons for 6 and 5 because when the player will click on those, the player will need to go somewhere. So we're going to go to frame 3. This will be the wrong page. This means that if the player will click on the wrong answer, the player will go to the page that says wrong. So we're going to do it here. Go to text tool in the toolbar, wrong. Okay, move the box if you want to or need to. Add another box that says back so that the player can go back to the game and try again. You can change the font as well, so I'm going to change this. You go under properties, character, I'm gonna make the size 75. It doesn't really matter, just anything. Gonna make it purple. Okay, I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna leave it red. We need to add a button to back so that when the player clicks on back, they will go back to the question. So we're going to right click this, make sure no other box is selected. So you can see this blue thingy, it's only around back. Make sure it's only around the text that you want to make a button with. So right click it, go to convert to symbol, we're gonna call it back. Again, make sure it's button, not movie clip or graphic. Make sure the registration is in the middle, press OK. Right click again, go to actions, on, release, close brackets, open parenthesis, enter, go to and stop, open brackets, to, close brackets, semicolon. Okay, now can you see the 2 right here? It means that when the player will click on this button right here, it will go back to frame 2, which is the question. Check for errors. Okay, 0 errors, 0 warnings. Good. I can close that. Go back to timeline. So we got this button. Now we're going to go to frame 4 and we're going to make the correct frame so that when the player clicks on the right answer, he will go to a frame that says right, correct. So we're going to go again to the text tool, T, in the toolbar. Going to right here, correct. We're going to move this if we need to. Again, if you want to change the size or the font or the style or the color, go under properties, character, and then click on the size. I'll leave it to 75. I'll change the color to blue. See if it's good. Okay, and that's all. I will add another text box that says next, so that when the player gets the answer right, he can move on to the next frame question. So next. Okay. I'm going to change this. I'm going to change everything, the size under properties, character here in the toolbar. I'm going to change the size to 40, actually 60, the color to this, and I'm gonna stick to times. Okay, now we are going to add a frame in something in frame 5 so that when the player clicks on next, he will go to frame 5. First of all, I'm going to make this button, so go to selection tool, right click on this. Make sure you have this blue box around it. Go to convert to symbol, next. Make sure it's a button, not a movie clip or graphic. Registration in the middle. You see this black thing? It has to be in the middle. Okay. Right click it again. Go to actions, on, release, open parenthesis. Don't forget the space here. Enter, go to and stop 5, because we want the player, when he clicks on next, we want him to go to frame 5. So we're going to go to and stop, open brackets, 5, close bracket, semicolon. Check for errors. 0 errors, 0 warnings. Good, close it. Go back to timeline. Now, obviously, we forgot to make 2 buttons here. So we need to make those 2 buttons. So we're going to start with the wrong answer. Let's check which frame is the wrong, which frame does the player have to go to if they get the wrong answer. Frame 3. So we're going to go to this. Which one is the wrong answer? 6. So we're going to right click it, convert to symbol. We want to make a button out of it. 6. Okay, make sure it's a button and registration middle. Okay. Right click it again, go to actions, go to actions, on, release. Make sure to always add those codes, okay? Do not forget. Open parenthesis, go to and stop, open brackets, 3, because we want the player to go to frame 3. Semicolon. Check for errors. 0 errors, 0 warnings. Make sure to always check for errors, because if you get something wrong, then you will have to start everything all over again. Close this, go to timeline. Now we want to make a button with the right answer. So we go to convert to symbol. We're gonna call it 5. Make sure it's a button, registration in the middle. Okay, right click it, actions, on, open brackets, release, space, open parenthesis, enter, go to and stop, 4, because the frame that says right on it is frame 4, so we want it to go to frame 4, semicolon, close that. Okay, so now we have created 2 buttons here, and if you go to frame 4, which is correct, we have next, but we haven't created frame 5 yet. So when the player will click on next, they will go to nothing. So now we need to create frame 5. So here I'm going to go to text tool, right? Rate your name works. Have fun making your own quiz game. Okay, now I'm going to make this like that. I'm going to move it here, kind of do this. Okay, that's really long. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to put it in here. Okay. Now you're going to highlight this, change the color if you want to. I want to change it to white, for example. I want to change the size to 55. I want to change the box, so I'm going to put it right here. Okay, and great. So now we are done with our game. If you want to test your game before sharing it, then you have to do Control, Test Movie in Flash Professional, and something will come up. So let's start. Start. How much is 2 plus 3? If I click on 6, wrong. Click on back, goes back to the question. 5, correct. Next, rate your game works. Have fun making your own quiz game. So our game, this tutorial is almost over. But now you want to save and publish your game. So what you're going to do first is save it. You are going to go to File, Save. I'm going to call it tutorial. I'm going to save it on my desktop. Make sure it's FLA format. So save it. Here it is. Now I'm going to publish it. I'm going to go to File, Publish. So it's publishing. On my desktop, 2 new files came up, which are those 2 files. In order for your game to work, you need both of those, because without one of them, the game won't work. So now if I will click on this, something will come up and I'll be able to play the game. So for example, if you want to give it to a friend or anything on a USB, you just do a new folder, create a new folder, and you have to put both of them in this folder, and then you give the whole folder, you put the whole folder in the USB. Hope this helped. This was Linda Bugila. Thank you very much for watching.